I've had a full day, and I felt really inspired to share about it. But first, so this channel is dedicated to helping people understand the difference between traditional non-duality and modernized nonsense non-duality, and specifically how to recover from it. And a warm welcome to anyone's new, and a warm welcome back to any of my regular viewers. So I have just had, I think, one of the most normal days I've had in a long time. And, I've talked about how part of recovering from Neo-Advaita and recovering from spiritual bypass is in essence embracing life, saying yes to the life journey. And as I've shared, I've sure drugged my feet about it because, as I've said before, life is messy, and Neo-Advaita, or spiritual bypass, you just get to trance out and not have to deal with life. But I've been slowly but surely making progress, and today just felt like the most normal day I've had. Like I just felt like a healthy, balanced human being. And I was into life, and I was not thinking about sort of all sorts of crazy, abstract spiritual things. I started my day off with some prayer uh, and just asking for help, asking higher power for help, and then doing some kirtan and some bhajans. Kirtan and bhajans are kind of two different words for devotional singing. And I've really realized that cultivating a relational attitude towards higher power is essential for my recovery. And in traditional Advaita Vedanta and traditional non-duality, that's 101. Like you don't get into the deep philosophy until you have a solid relationship with higher power. And I've heard that exact phrase from traditional non-dual gurus. And so it's starting to happen. And then later on in the day, I did this journaling process where you actually have a conversation with Source or God or Bhagavan or Allah or Tao or whatever you want to call it, your higher power. And I've been exploring different types of, you could say, pharmaceutical help. I've looked at traditional Western medication. I've looked at herbs, at supplements. I've looked at legal approaches to using psychedelics for mental health, and and I've explored different things. And I'm trying something new today, and it was really helpful. And all right, live hymn, sure, shoot your question. Uh, and then I did some volunteer work today. I've realized that I need to just get back to basics. And welcome to all the live viewers, by the way. Feel free if you have any questions about spiritual bypass recovery or Neo-Advaita, please do post them. And so I've known that for years, that I need to go do some volunteer work. And and I finally I broke through, and I started doing it. Walter East, that's kind of annoying, and I think I'm gonna mute you. There's no need for that. So, yeah, maybe I'm not able to remove you. I'm still learning how to do this when I'm on my phone. But yeah, so I went and did volunteer work today, and just to do something positive, like to make the world a better place, not in a dramatic way, to be around other people. And it's just so healthy and healing. And took care of some things I've been procrastinating. And on top of all of it, I went and did something fun tonight. I've been studying belly dance, and went and did a belly dance class. And it was just such a balanced, healthy day. And Cool mustache. Oh, thank you. It was just such a balanced human day. And yes, I was doing spiritual things, like I did some mantra and I did some meditation, but the Neo-Advaita kind of mind whirling and obsession with metaphysical topics was not happening today. And on top of it, on top of it, um, it's interesting. I write on Quora, and I wrote, someone asked this question, this theoretical question about Vedic philosophy and, AKA Hinduism. And I wrote this answer. Uh, I wrote this answer, which basically said, you know, they asked a very speculative theological question. And I'm like, that's Western theology. Sanatana Dharma, Vedic philosophy, Hinduism doesn't really care about such things. Like, it's really not important because those things won't bring you peace. And that's the thing is Neo-Advaita philosophy said it would give us peace, but it actually didn't. And that's because, what I've realized is I just didn't have the foundation. Like, in essence, you have to be kind of a mature, balanced person before pursuing the non-dual path. Cypress music. I'm talking about something called Neo-Advaita and spiritual bypass, which is unhealthy approaches to spirituality. So I just had an amazing day, and a big part of it was about devotion, about and that is considered one of the just fundamental, the foundational pieces for traditional non-duality, is to have a devotional feeling and relationship towards a higher power. And without that, it just becomes this mental whirlwind, which I got caught in, and many people I know, many other people on this channel got caught in. And so I just had a good day. And those are some of the things I did to help me have a good day. And I think I'm going to start a YouTube channel where I actually teach some traditional sort of Vedic principles, not teach non-duality, but teach some of the fundamental things that can prepare a person for non-duality. If you so feel inspired, as I've shared many times, that's not my path anymore. But because I'm finally starting to get some results. And, a big part of recovery from Neo-Advaita and recovery from spiritual bypass is just overcoming resistance. Because, as I've said many times, it's just an addiction. Neo-Advaita or spiritual bypass are just addictions. And, addiction is the easy way out. It's the easy way through problems. And, but it's only easy in the short term, and it has quite a price tag to it. So, so I finally, actually, it's interesting. Yesterday, last night, I just hit like such a low. I hit such a low, and I just woke up this morning desperate to, to find a balanced way of life that works. And that was my prayer. I was just like, please help me. I didn't even say, please help me, God. I was just like, please help me, whatever the F you are, higher power, consciousness, goddess, Tao, Christ, Buddha. I'm kind of a universalist in that sense, but I was just like, please help me. Please help me. And that's one of the things is prayer is poo-pooed in traditional non-duality. Excuse me, in Neo-Advaita. In traditional non-duality, I read one of the most famous traditional non-dual teachers of the 20th century, traditional, like grounded in Vedic philosophy. He's like, pray about everything. He's like, ask Bhagavan or Ishwara, which is the technical word for the creator God in traditional non-duality, although God isn't the correct word, but regardless, he's like, pray before you do anything. That's traditional non-duality. Neo-Advaita would be like, who is it that's praying and why would you pray and everything is determined and like Neo-Advaita just would just basically everything that's good and harmonious about traditional non-duality, Neo-Advaita criticizes and rejects, including prayer. So and I didn't ask for help once. I begged and pleaded. I'm like, please help me. I just had a really shitty day yesterday and really just hit a low point. Um, and I went in, I have some behavioral addictions and I just went really into the addictions and so this morning I was just like, please help. Please help. And the help came, and I had a really glorious day. Not even a glorious day, I just had a really good, balanced day. And I look forward to, I had a devotional day of like feeling love. I mean, in Vedic philosophy, you get to choose what you worship, you get to choose the name and image. And I just feel so much devotion towards goddess, towards female, the female half of ultimate reality. So I just like talked to goddess all day, and not all day, and sang devotional songs to her and prayed to her and did mantras that are associated with her. Just like kept her in my thoughts throughout the day. And that may be strange to some of you. Some of you aren't familiar with Vedic philosophy, this idea of, they call it an Ishta Deva, which means the form or image of God which you find pleasing. And it's considered a legitimate pathway to enlightenment and liberation, to worship a particular form, a name and form that you find appealing and pleasing. And Ramana Maharshi did it. Ramana Maharshi loved Arunachala, which is, it's a little, Arunachala is a little bit more of an obscure name and form, but it's a name and a form, right? Like it's the name Arunachala and it's a form, this particular sacred mountain. So anything that's in essence sacred, you're allowed to worship. You can worship the universe or the sun or nature or any true guru or any of the thousands of different names and forms in Vedic philosophy. You just worship the one that you find pleasing and that feels good. But that's another topic. But thanks so much, everybody. This channel has been, coming in here and sharing my updates has been so healing and helpful, and to also remind myself, and I also want to remind each one of you, if you've had yourself and your life just wrecked by Neo-Advaita, because I did, and I'm not the only one. I have met plenty of other people who have. There really is hope. I mean, I almost unalived myself multiple times. I went very far down the Neo-Advaita and spiritual bypass rabbit hole. And there really is a way out. And I'm not saying that I don't sell things, like I'm not trying to get a big following. I'm nobody special. Like the way out is this combination of common sense, understanding Neo-Advaita, common sense, and then finding a balanced spiritual path that actually works for you. And in traditional Vedic philosophy, traditional Hinduism, traditional Sanatana Dharma, the traditional foundation of actual non-duality, it's a really good path. Carl Jung, the very famous psychiatrist, said someone who genuinely practices Hinduism cannot have, and again, Hinduism isn't the accurate word, but whatever, we can talk about that later, will not have neurosis, because Vedic philosophy just has so many balances, checks and balances in it. And Neo-Advaita is just the opposite of balance. Like Neo-Advaita is complete unbalance. That's what it did to me, and that's what it did to so many other people. So if you just dropped in at the tail end, hi, thanks for dropping by. I gave a report on, I just had a normal, balanced human day. And I look forward to more of them, and I look forward to sharing with y'all what I'm doing that's working for me, and doing what I can to support other people on the path of recovery from Neo-Advaita. Thanks so much for dropping by. Big love, and healing and recovery is possible. Take care.